I see him.
I can see him.
Slut.
Oh,
So
Ew, I will, bitch. LOL.
the topic of discussion is adulting.
Adulting?
it's fucking. Yeah, that's some
Is
real
Security
shit.
in here?
No, he's not here yet. Adulting's fucking real. Oh, I fucking hate adulting.
No way, no.
That's funny you bring that topic up because me and Drake were talking about that last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So we're just gonna basically continue that thing.
pretty
Okay,
much.
so-
I sort of cut him off and I was like, no, it's time for you to go to bed because we were like, no shit, talking for like 2 hours about it.
Man, that
What
wasn't
time is it?
yesterday. Was that the day before yesterday?
I don't remember, dude. My days are
Was it
blending
yesterday?
together right now.
Yeah.
Time is a construct we must follow. Nothing is real.
True.
I once killed a man.
So did you?
No.
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 Hello?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
What's up,
Howdy.
players?
Wow.
Not much, man. Drake's wife got a whiff of us doing a podcast and talking about like us and ourselves and like friendships and shit like that. And she's like, "You better not talk about you, me,
Yeah,
our relationship,
she's
nothing."
sitting next to me to ensure that we don't talk about her.
Oh Christ.
So that's a little bit of something. So if we can like sneak a little bit of something, he can wink for us. You know.
Oh yeah, totally.
I need you
Okay.
for me if this is a yes. You know.
No. It's a no.
Drake, are you looking to get yourself a racing chair?
A
He
racing
was
chair?
just talking
Yeah,
about a
you shared
gaming
the
chair
thing,
on
the
fucking.
racing-
Yeah, I saw
On-
it. It was cheap. I was like, I'm gonna share it. Just
Don't
in
do
case.
it. Don't do it. Spend money on a good chair. I'm telling
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but they have different chairs on there. They don't just have those chairs.
So,
I have a chair that I actually like it. I only got it for $40. It's not a gaming chair. It's just an office chair. I don't care.
Right.
yeah.
you.
A good
I
chair is
say
worth it.
because I had just got mine like literally yesterday, and it's fucking amazing.
What happened to your old one? Let me have your old one.
It broke.
Duct
My
tape
fat
that
ass
bitch.
couldn't lean all the way back.
Duct tape that bitch.
That shit snapped. You didn't.
If your ass fucking broke it, I sure as hell would fucking break it. I'm fucking way heavier.
Yeah, dude. And I was gonna tell you this company, the company that I got my chair from, they make chairs for like bigger people, like taller, heavier people.
Boy,
Yeah, 'cause
send
I'm
him
fucking
send him
tall.
my link. Fucking
270 right
Send me
now.
the link.
275 probably right now.
Thick boy.
I'll
Damn, daddy.
put it in Discord.
alright.
Yeah, dude, it's great. I got one like about a size above what I actually am, so that way I know for a fact I'm gonna not break it.
So you got
It's
room
gonna
you got
be
room to
good.
grow.
What are you trying to do?
Yeah. My doctor says I still got a couple inches. My pediatrician.
Your pediatrician. Stupid ass.
No, wait, what is it? Is it a pediatrician or
Yeah.
No, that's when you're like
A
fucking
pediatrician
kid.
is a
It's
child.
when
Yeah,
you're
no,
a kid, that's fine. It's worth it.
yeah, see, okay, so I was with you.
Fucking idiot.
It works.
There it is.
It's
There's
fine.
the link.
Hey, there's the chair right there.
Yeah, dude, this thing is nice. The fucking armrests go up, down, side to side. You can turn
Sure
the
hope they do.
things. You can slide them back and forth.
Get that devil's lettuce out of here, woman.
It's a hefty
Hey,
chair,
hey,
out there, but it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I just put headphones on.
Oh,
And
okay.
they even have one that has like a built-in footrest. I kind of regret not getting that one. It was for like 20, 30 bucks extra, but
Alright.
yeah.
Enough about chairs. Let's talk about adulting. Like, what's the
Garrett, that's
I
the
wish you would've-
topic we're gonna be talking about adulting.
Sounds
like
good.
Yeah,
how
so-
we've gone from like kids to young adults.
From boys to men. Okay, well let me start it off by saying this. When was like the first moment or when you like realized, damn, this is adult life. This is how it's gonna be.
Probably when I got excited that I had a good credit score. That's probably it. No, I don't know, cause even when I was in the army, like, cause they were paying me, like, I had a stable income. It was probably when I got out of the army and I got back and I was I was trying to figure out how I was gonna pay for my car because my car payment came out automatically, and I didn't want to ask my dad for money because I'm stubborn like that, you know. So I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to fucking go negative. And then I told my dad like that I didn't have any money. He's like, I already gave you the money. He's like, but it's probably too late now. It's not gonna process by tomorrow. I'm like, it's fine. I'll figure it out. The very next day, I had like fucking I don't know. I had $30 on my account when I went to bed. The very next day, I woke up. My car payment was gonna be $330. The very next day, I woke up with like $500 in my account. I'm like, what the fuck? Did they pay me? And I'm so confused. I was like, fuck. And it was the VA. The VA had gave me money
Damn.
because I started getting my VA benefits on that
Coming
day.
in
It
clutch
couldn't have-
right when you need them, huh?
it couldn't
Yeah,
have
dude.
came in at a better. Like literally
Damn,
had
Gary.
no fucking way of paying.
That'll wake
fucking
you
car.
up there.
Yeah, no, it did. Oh, it just the feeling like of knowing that you're gonna go to bed and fucking wake up with negative money in your account, you know, kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. What about you, Garrett?
I've actually, luckily, I mean, knock on wood, I've been put in a good situation. Yeah, I went to college.
you
and
outside?
everything, But I mean, yeah.
Okay.
He's doing
Yeah,
a
I'm still on the
3K
clock
remote.
till 5, so shut up. I'm still on the
Okay.
clock till 5.
Oh yeah. Makes sense.
Okay, so like I had a pretty good until I mean I went to college and everything, but it's not the same. I don't think that's the same as like living on your own and actually paying your own bills and everything. So I would say for me, it would just be recently actually when I got moved in with my now fiance and we were like paying for bills and having to figure out shit and looking at how much we were paying and stuff. And it's when I really appreciated the job I did get into, and I'm working during this time and everything. And I mean, it could be a lot worse. I know people are actually relying on that stimulus check and everything right now.
No fucking.
Yeah, and they're living off of that. And it's like, well, shit, that was just extra money I could put in the bank for when I buy a house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good though.
Yeah, that's really
So,
good.
Eric
I'd
too.
say I had pretty, I got pretty good pathway into adulthood. I think it's just because of the family I got brought up in and everything. And after college, I was able to move back in with my parents and stash away money and not have to worry about rent and everything. And I was luckily able to do that. So I'd say for me, experiencing adulthood and really realizing it has been recently when, you know, going picking out a ring and having to put down that money and pay that off and everything.
Yeah.
And so that's my experience.
That's a whole nother fucking conversation, though. Everyone in this room right now is married, other than myself, or about to get married. So I wouldn't. I
So
wouldn't
what
even
about you,
know
Nate?
what
I
that'd
mean-
be.
I mean, Nate, you're
Um,
kind of still going through it, aren't you?
Fucking. I mean, who isn't
Yeah.
at this point? But well, I guess my defining moment, I would say, would probably be grad night. Eric knows why.
No.
You don't? Well, when I fucking okay.
I
well, just
remember
for
it, but you tell the story.
Yeah,
Go
well,
for
you
it.
know what happened, but I'm gonna just say it again for the record. During Grand Night, we went to Six Flags, and it was a really fucking cool time. You know, I was with my buddies, just fucking going on rides and shit, and it wasn't too late in the night, maybe like 1 or 2 in the morning,
Mhm.
and around then everyone was like, hey, let's take a break, let's grab some food, and, you know, check out the shops or whatever, maybe grab one of those souvenir sweaters and shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. So we all went, and at the time I was like, I was dating someone, and I saw a bunch, like a whole rack of like bracelets with the letters on them, you know, fucking like, oh, there's my letter for my first name, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And I had just bought the souvenir sweater for for Grand Night, and that's all the money I had because I knew it was gonna be like what $60 for the fucking thing. So I had that money and then some, like maybe 20 extra bucks for food that I had also spent. So in total, I had like $80 on me, and it was gone. So I was like, "Fuck, I want to get something for my girlfriend, but I don't have money."
Damn.
So me being the hopeless romantic that I was, I fucking stole it.
Damn.
So I stole a little. It was like $3 too. I stole it and I stashed it in my bag that I had kept my sweater in.
Uh-huh.
And I walked out. Everything was fine. It was good. Then my buddy saw me take that bracelet,
Uh-huh.
and Garrett left, and
Pointing it out.
But yeah, anyway, so my buddy saw me take that bracelet. He was like, "Hey man, I saw you take that bracelet. You think you could maybe snag one for my girlfriend right now?" And I felt cool. I was having a good time. I was in a good mood, so I was like, "Yeah, dude, fuck it, I got you." So I went back inside.
Dumbass.
He told me which one he wanted, and I took it from him, threw it in my bag. No, actually, I put it in my pocket. So I fucking grabbed it. I went back outside, took it out of my pocket. I gave it to him. I was like, "Here you go, dude." And then about a second or two later, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and there's this fucking guy that just has like a Captain America shirt, like a red beanie. He looked like a fucking teenager, and he pulls out this little fucking Rent-A-Cop badge, and he was like, "Hey man, I saw you take that bracelet. You're gonna have to go with me." I was like, what the fuck? I had half a mind to fucking just run into the darkness and hope he couldn't find me, but I was fucking tired. I didn't want to run. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this L. So that's what I fucking did, and fucking through a bunch of just having to fucking wait until basically the next morning for someone to pick me up because I couldn't go back to school on the bus that we went on. I got fined like $500 for stealing, and I couldn't go back to Six Flags for a year.
Damn.
I still haven't gone, by the way, and that happened in 2015. I have not gone
Fuck
back
those
since then.
guys.
Not because I'm scared or anything will happen. I just haven't gone. But I think that was the moment that I truly experienced adulting, because that $500 ticket wasn't gonna get paid by my parents,
Right.
because that was my punishment. They're like, "Well, you graduated high school, you're 18, get a fucking job and pay that shit yourself." So that was like my defining moment.
That sucks.
And I went on to work at a Home Depot warehouse for almost a year. I fucking hated every second of it.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
You said Garrett left?
He's
No,
back.
I'm here.
Well, now he's back.
Yeah, I was at bad reception. Here, I was trying to connect back.
Yeah.
Go inside your house where there's Wi-Fi.
I'm not at my
at
house.
his house. Did you not
I
catch
leave
it?
work. I'm driving home.
Oh,
Driving home.
I didn't know you were at work. I
Don't you
didn't know
text and
went
drive,
out
boy?
I thought you were
bailed
working from
early.
home.
He's in an Uber.
Is in the
You
Uber.
bailed earlier? You dickhead.
Yeah. Hey,
Fuck
I
it.
wanted to get in the car and get on the phone. So, I mean, I went on the clock till 5.
True. It's gonna take you half an hour to get home, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
What about you, Eric? What was your moment of fucking third eye opening to
I
adulthood?
don't know. Like, as you guys were talking about it, I had to like think when was my moment, and I could say that there were
You
several.
went into the army like what, a little bit after high school, didn't you?
So when did we graduate? We graduated in
15.
August.
No, in May.
No.
In May. In May. So I left in August actually.
Yeah, so
So I was gonna leave like 2 weeks after we graduated, but they said I needed to sign like a waiver to release early because there's like I wouldn't call it like a grace period before they could send you
18
off.
Still?
Yeah,
Were you 18 yet?
I was 18 when I went to MEPS, like a couple months forward, but there's a policy where they have to give you like 8 weeks after graduation, and I'd have to sign a policy saying that I waiver that policy and go early.
okay.
But I didn't sign that policy, so I had a few more weeks, and it ended up favoring me, getting me the job I wanted versus a job in hindsight I would have fucking hated. But yeah, there's a few moments where I could say I got my adulthood prior to that, but I don't think so. I think I kind of overlooked them, like getting arrested for stealing shit. But I don't think I learned my lesson then, and I don't think that shows, because like
I'm still doing it.
I'm not doing it anymore. But like I got caught I got arrested, and then I had to do community service. That's pretty much it. My parents or my mom paid the debt because I was 16 at the
Damn.
time. So
How
I
much
feel
money was the debt?
fucking well. It's twice. I got caught twice.
Fuck.
So the first time it was like $500 petty theft. It was under like $100 and shit. The second time it was close to 100, but it was second offense, so it was $1,000.
Fuck.
Oh,
Yeah,
baby.
and that time,
Dad would have beat my ass.
yeah. So that time we had just gotten our house phone changed, and they were like, "Okay, we can just confirm your address or get your parents down here to come pick you up. You won't be arrested." But we had just gotten the house phone changed, the number changed, and I didn't know
My
the number.
question is, did you steal from the same place twice?
Yeah,
Or when did you get caught from the same place twice?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was dumb. I shouldn't have stole twice, and I also shouldn't have gone back to the same place twice.
I mean, you were being influenced by a fucking asshole. So
Yeah.
I should have beat that kid's ass. I should have let Greg beat his ass actually.
Oh yeah, you should have. But yeah, those two moments, I wouldn't say I those weren't my defining moments as being an adult. I think
No.
when I was in Kuwait and I was on the verge of getting kicked out of the army, that was like a real eye opener. Like I was having sleep issues, being away from home the first time ever, or not the first time ever, but like
For a long amount of time.
For a long amount of
Being
time,
1,000 miles away from home,
Yeah.
not just away from home.
On the
like,
other side of the earth,
yeah,
away from
literally.
home.
Far away from home.
So I would say the thought of coming back to a place that I hated and the reason I left California to eventually like be kicked out and sent back, I couldn't do that. And that was like a real eye opener. And every time that moment comes up, it's like, yeah, I've got to man up, or I've got to adult up and actually like bite the bullet and fucking hunker down and actually like be an adult and take responsibility for something I've done, whether it was being late or failing a PT test or something like that. I needed to like man up and actually take the strides
working.
to be an adult and
yeah.
step
Yeah.
up. So like I think that was the defining moment of me being an adult. You know?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm gonna say this. I don't know how your household life was, Nate, but I know Eric's had a rough childhood. Garrett, not so much, because
No.
fortunately for Garrett, he has two older brothers to learn lessons from. Basically, is what happened. And so by the time Garrett was like going to graduate, his parents were like already basically like realizing that they were done taking care of him, and they knew he was going to go to college. So I don't know, Garrett, was your childhood ever bad? Was it ever like rough?
The only time it was rough was when my dad got laid off as a police officer, and he didn't have a job, and there was no income in the house. We were pretty much scraping by on unemployment. And that was for a good year and a half until he fought the Fontana Police Department to get his job back. He won his job back, and that was only really the rough patch in the child.
So I know what happened with your dad. Can you explain to Eric and Nate what happened to your dad and how he got in an accident?
So my dad in 2005 was a Fontana motorcycle officer, and he was on his way home. He just finished a shift. He was going down Foothill Boulevard, just past Alder, right by Pepe's, right behind my house.
Oh man,
And he was
classic.
going 50 miles an hour. A 16-year-old unlicensed kid from another.
Oh,
And there you went.
I mean, he might have
country.
dropped.
There was two semis.
Oh
Oh,
man,
he's
missing
so
out on a really good
choppy.
story.
Fuck.
Yeah, so two semis. He was going between two semis, and this guy thought he was gonna beat the two semis out and turn left onto Foothill. So he didn't. He pulled out and didn't see my dad coming 50 miles an hour on a motorcycle. My dad T-boned him, and he flew a good 90 feet to 100 feet in the air and landed on his butt, and his head went between his legs, smashed into the ground,
Oh
and
shit.
he broke his back and crushed two vertebrae. They took him emergency to the ER and to surgery, and they said he was so close to just snapping his spine in half and being paralyzed or dead. And they said the one thing to save his life was a bulletproof vest kept his internals from really shifting around and causing internal bleeding. So they said
Damn.
everything was looking right in that day and that accident, that minute, that he's still with us and able to walk. And, I mean, he's earned it. He's earned everything that he's got now just because that was a rough time. And I mean, we were pretty much down in the dumps then until he could learn to walk again. He couldn't walk until probably 2 weeks later. And
Just 2 weeks?
taught him.
I feel like that's still really quick.
Yeah.
That is a
after
really quick
surgery and
recovery.
everything, well, it wasn't a full recovery. He was taking baby steps, and he could barely take baby steps.
Right.
And
No,
then
his dad's a tough son of a bitch. His dad, like,
Oh, yeah.
you
I
would,
don't see him
you would
try.
think after that you would retire and never work again, but his dad actually got a job with the water company and was working
Yeah.
for them.
Oh hell yeah! I know. I fucking flew 90 feet in the air. Fucking crushed. I'm tapping out, dude. I'm good.
Yeah, and he actually, when it happened, the witnesses said he stood up, he looked around, and then he just collapsed. And he said the next thing he remembered, he was at the hospital getting like put under for surgery, and my mom was right there. But that was, I'd say that was definitely the hardest part of my childhood, was seeing my dad cry for
Yeah.
the first time in the hospital bed when they were working on it.
Yeah, I feel like that's like extra because you almost lost your dad that day. On top of the fact that he was out of a job and he couldn't really support his family, like
Yeah.
having to go through all that as like a adolescent, you know, I can really like I can feel that, you know, like I can really understand like how rough that could be. But to answer your question, Drake, I mean, I'm trying to think of the words here. I know I don't have it like as bad or as good as anybody else in the world right now.
No, of course
I
not.
could be 100 times better and I could be 100 times worse. But I feel like as a kid, I think like the roughest part for me was having to experience a lot of I wouldn't say like abuse, not from like to me, like at me, but it was just mainly my like my parents, because there was a time where my dad was like he wasn't faithful, you know.
Yeah.
So, and my mom would catch on and they would argue a lot and he would deny it and they would scream a lot in the house, and it was I can't even remember how long it went on for, but it felt like forever.
Yeah.
And there was even a part where my dad wasn't even living with us anymore. He was just with this other lady, just fucking doing God knows what. But I would say that was probably the roughest I went through, because you know my dad. I still look up to him today because he's almost like any other dad, like Garrett's dad, you know, dude. He's fucking already gonna be he turns 50 this weekend, dude. And
Damn.
he's fucking
Turn
truck
up.
driving every day, dude. Waking up at 4 in.
That's an essential position right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, and he takes pride in it. He really does. And I really am proud of him for that too, because he's a high risk person because he's diabetic, and he goes
Yeah.
to these hospitals to deliver maintenance supplies, like janitorial supplies. So he's scared to do it, but he does
Yeah.
it. And I really do look up to that, you know. And there's moments where I do look back on my childhood and like the shit he did to my mom and the way he basically treated our whole family. And I do, you know, I kind of do look at it as where like, fuck, I can't believe he did it. But at the same time, he did come back. He realized that he was fucking up, that he was less of a man, I guess. Because I still remember like little conversations I'd had about it with him, and he just felt like shit for it, you know. And I think that's probably his biggest regret in life. But what really, I guess, pulled me back towards him was that he came back, he stuck with us, and I feel like my parents' relationship was even stronger than it was 10 years ago, you know. So
Yeah.
it's
Good
been
they worked it
it's been
out.
ups and downs. Yeah.
It's better that they worked it out versus, the other alternative.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think I'd be in the same position I was today if they were to like split up or something. You know.
Yeah. For me, it wasn't so much. My dad gave me everything. Like, I wouldn't say I was spoiled, but if I needed something, like let's say I needed like equipment because I was always playing sports. It was football, and then when football was off, I would play baseball. So if I needed a new glove, my dad would go out and spend fucking $300 on a new glove. You know what I mean? No fucking
Tyler
problem.
always had good equipment. He had good cleats. He always had a good helmet for.
I mean, but the thing about it is like I wasn't one of those kids that fucking had all this nice shit and wasn't essential to the team, wasn't a good fucking player.
No, he was the fucking main heartbeat of the team.
My dad made sure that I fucking took if I was going to do anything, whether it be like a sport, whether it be not so much a hobby, but if he was gonna pay money for me to play in a sport, he was gonna make sure that I was doing it to the best of my ability. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If that meant him being a coach and kicking my ass, and my dad didn't take it easy on me. Every year my dad was a coach, which wasn't that often. He was singling me the fuck out all the time. You know how like you have like that one kid you could think of, I'm sure, that played on a team whose parent was on the team, and they're like, oh, he's a coach, he can do whatever he wants. It's fucking not like that with me. Fuck no. My fucking dad would fucking single me out. If I didn't do something right, he's like, go run a lap. If I didn't run the lap right, he'd make me run fucking another lap. You know what I mean? Like, he would bully me because who's going to complain to him that I'm fucking bullying? Like, like if the coach is bullying somebody's kid, the parents are going to go up and be like, why are you singling out my kid? Well, I was his kid. So, you know what I mean? So he was fucking taking it out worse on me versus, the other kids. And I don't blame him because it honestly made me a better player. Because if he put it in my mind that I could be the best at something, and that I saw that the best of my ability could actually help the team, that made me happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that too. Like, how did you feel about your dad singling you out about a lot of that?
I mean, it made me happier because when we won the CIF championship that year, fucking that was just, it wasn't all my dad. You know what I mean? But he definitely had a positive push in the right direction.
Yeah.
I could say one thing about Tyler and his dad's really like Tyler was the strongest person on that team, and he was the strongest person because one, he wanted to be the strongest person. Two, his dad made sure he was the strongest person by getting the weight equipment for his house and making sure he lifted, made sure he had protein drinks, and make sure he was taking the right protein at certain times and everything like that. And I feel like, I mean, there was no question about it. Tyler was one of
Oh my god.
best players on that team that year because of the way his dad like pushed him to be his best in that sport, and there was no question about it. I mean, he was way better than I was. He even went and played in college in a position that he carried other players around. He was always the one that was boosting other players to play better, and I know he made me play better when we were doing stupid antics on the field and running the defense. That's like the best memories I have of high school was playing with him, and I think, I mean, it could be the same. I could hear it now. Both my dad and Tyler's dad in the grandstands yelling at either us or yelling at coaches or jumping
always
high-fiving each other when
always fucking your dad would always yell at the coaches and refs.
So it's like, those are the best memories I have of high school, and it leads to Tyler's dad really pushing.
Yeah, I mean, my dad did push me, but he had a funny way of getting his point across, and like he would abuse me and fucking bust open my lip, and he beat me so bad one time that I went to school and they saw the bruises on my head and they called CPS, and CPS came to the school and was like, oh, so does your dad hit you? And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, isn't that like, to me, I was like, isn't that normal? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that a normal thing? And they're like, no, it's not. Like, like that's not supposed to happen. And I'm just thinking like, and I would see like how other parents would get their point across to their kids, like they'd be like, oh, I'm taking this away from you, or you're grounded, or you're restricted. Fuck
Mhm.
no, not like that to me. For me, it would be a smack upside the fucking head if I didn't do something that I was supposed to do.
I witnessed his dad hit him, but it was in an instance where it wasn't abuse. I could clearly see it wasn't abuse. It was just either Tyler did something, said something,
I was stupid.
Yeah.
I was a dumbass.
I would have done the same shit.
and it was just like he obviously wasn't abuse. It's not because he was just so mad he just punched the shit out of Tyler.
Yeah.
My dad just has a
did
short
something.
fuse, but that's
Yeah.
another thing. Is my
I don't-
dad
I
has a
was
short
scared of
fuse.
Tyler's dad. I was scared of him. Honestly, I would go around and be like, "Hi, Mr. Drake." Like I would get.
Don't hit me.
I'd beat the shit out of Tyler. I'd be like,
If he does that to his
He
own
was
son,
always
what's he
so
gonna do to me?
"Oh, he's so nice to me."
Yeah, like we'd be in the car together. We'd be in the car together and my dad was nice. My dad would make sure that you guys were taken care of. Even Eric
And
too.
fed,
Eric would come
and
over.
even fed. He would
Yeah.
feed us. Like he would go get something to eat.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah.
that's really cool that your dad really had like a, I guess, his own like
Method.
yeah, his own method of just disciplining.
Call it that.
Because from what you were just saying, it kind of did sound like borderline abuse, but
No,
it's
he
like
just, he would take it overboard sometimes. No, he definitely would take it overboard. I mean,
There were times
instances
Tyler
where
said that he actually got into a full like physical fist fight or
no,
wrestling
Garrett, do you
with his
remember
dad.
when I beat my dad's ass and then we went to the banquet a week later and he had a black
Yeah.
eye
Yes, I remember that vividly.
and your dad asked him what happened to him and my dad's like, oh, I got in a fight.
Jesus.
But shit, I mean, are you? Well, let me ask you this: do you like, are you scared of your dad still, or do you like
Oh fuck
respect
no,
him?
no, I respect my dad. You know, like when I came back from the army, we kind of butted heads a little bit, but when I moved, you know, into my own place by myself again, it was kind of it's better now. You know what I mean? Like I respect my dad, and it sucks to see him the way he is because I don't know if you guys know this, but my dad actually has intestinal problems, and so he has diverticulitis, which means like he has problems with the lining of his intestines. So if he doesn't watch like what he eats, he could really like fuck up his intestines, and he can build up like pockets of pus in his intestines and have to have surgery and stuff. But he's just been deteriorating lately just because, you know, he still works in construction. He's worked construction his whole life, and he's lifted weights and worked construction and just, you know, fucking since he was 16 he's been working construction stuff and lifting weights. And my dad was strong as shit. My dad
He
was
still is.
but
You
no,
grab his
yeah.
hand, you take his hand, and it's like, oh, you can tell that guy works hard for it.
Yeah, Garrett, but you haven't seen my dad in a while. My dad's lost a lot of weight since he started getting sick.
Oh, really?
He's down to like 150 right now, like
Oh, shit.
5.
Oh,
But
Starting
he used to walk around
deteriorate.
at like 185, 190, but solid fucking muscle.
Solid.
My dad was not little, and he was short, but he wasn't fucking. He was always stocky, like fucking. He was like a little gorilla, like a fucking stocky fucking gorilla. But yeah, over the years, you know, he's slowly starting to die down, and you know, he has 2 little girls now, you know, from another woman. So I think just everything going on, him having to deal with her and him having to deal, you know, with raising 2 more children is just kind of, you know, him always being hurt, and you know, he's the reason why I wear fucking goddamn elbow braces, because he's like, yeah, you know, you gotta wear elbow braces because you don't want to end up like me. You know, I have fucking, you know, what's it called when you have problems with your tendinitis?
Yeah.
He's like, you don't want to have tendinitis. You know, that shit sucks. You know what I mean? Or you don't want to like. He tore his rotator cuff on his right shoulder. You know what I mean? He still hasn't got that fixed. And he hasn't even really been working out that much. But what I did like was that when I was working out over there, you know, due to coronavirus or whatever, he was like, yeah, I want to work out with you. And, you know, I think my dad still put up him being hurt, him being skinny. I think my dad still put up like 285 on the bench.
oh well.
My dad only weighs like probably like 145.
150.
Yeah, he
It's fucking insane.
He probably put up like
short,
2.
So he's got short arms, so he has.
Yeah, he fucking.
Short travel.
Yeah, but you know what's great is that I don't know if I'm pretty sure I mentioned to you, Eric, that I have another brother.
Yeah, you told me.
My brother actually came out and we all got to work out together. Granted, my dad was still getting pretty skinny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're okay. You're just high. You're paranoid. Relax. She's like, my throat's hurting. I'm like, relax, it's just fucking high. But no, my brother came out, and my brother's not little. My brother's like a maybe like an inch taller than me, and my brother's in better shape than I am. My brother just recently lost like a fucking 75 pounds over the last year that I had seen him. So basically, my brother was like in good shape too, and I was like just me, big me. You know me. I got a fucking beer belly, you know, and I don't even drink fucking beer. And it's just like Nathan's dad said. Like Nathan's dad was like, dude, I've been looking at you all night. You're a fucking big guy. He's like, you're not. He's like, you're fucking huge, dude. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm walking by you and you're sitting down and you're just so fucking big. I'm just like, yeah,
Sounds
dude.
like something Nate's
He's
dad
like,
say.
he's like, are you hungry? Do you want more food? And I was like, I was trying to be respectful because I had already eaten a shit ton. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm good.
Dude, I remember
I'm like, no, I'm good. He's like, no, dude, you gotta eat. You fucking. He's like, fucking. He gave me 2 Cornish hens and fucking like potatoes, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I'll keep eating. I don't give a fuck.
I remember that.
Dude, that was great.
And what's crazy is like Tyler was big in high school and stuff, but he fucking like he lost so much weight in the army and he got like skinny as hell.
Yeah,
And
but
then
I'm
it's-
fat now.
Yeah, no, but you're not
No
fat.
fat.
You're big, like you are just big. Like you're just a thick boy.
Mm-hmm. I'm a
And
thick
it's like
boy.
you look at you like your arm fucking like you throw a punch. Yeah, you're gonna fucking knock someone out with that.
Probably. That's what I was telling Eric yesterday. Is that I haven't been in a fight since I started working out again, which is good because I'd probably fucking break somebody's head.
Oh yeah.
But like the last time I got in a fight, I was like, it was when I first started working at Gold Star. I was out of shape back then. Nate, you remember I wasn't as
Yeah,
big as I am now. But fucking
Was
yeah,
that the,
dude.
was
Fucking,
that the one on the off ramp?
yeah, the one on the off ramp. That fucking asshole. Fucking threw a fucking piece of metal at my car. Beat his fucking ass.
That's not the same one where he had his sister in the car, was it? Or
Yeah,
what,
that's the
girl?
same one.
Same one. Fuck that guy.
Nate, were you there for
Fucking
that? Were
pussy.
you at
Um,
Gold Star when that happened?
Yeah, you're the first one who told me. I was the first
Oh,
one.
and Chris was fucking like, oh, you're so stupid for doing that. You're
He's
gonna
like, hey, you gotta relax.
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, what the fuck was I supposed to do? He followed me for like a mile on the way. I tried to drive away. And he got out of his car first. I didn't. I felt bad for that guy to an extent. I mean, it was enjoyable to kick his ass, but I felt bad for him because he was like 5'7", just fat. I mean, he had a fucking stomach, like, and no legs and no upper body. It was just stomach. But yeah, he was dressed all nice too. Like he was gonna go somewhere, and like after I beat him up, his nose was bloody, his lip was
He
busted.
probably
his
didn't
fucking-
go out.
He
his
wasn't going
His
nowhere.
shirt was ripped. His
Remember-
shirt was ripped.
Fuck, I go home and
Now you
cry.
gotta go to your court date and.
Oh, that's his court date.
His court date
Go
attire.
home and cry about his manhood.
It's like shit.
Yeah, dude. But the last fight that I got in before that was with some fucking tweaker looking dude at the gas station that I worked at.
So,
And he was asking people for money, and he got mad at me for telling him to leave, and I was just doing the job.
Oh,
And I literally picked him up and I fucking slammed his ass on the ground because he was like about to punch me. And you know, like when people get that look in their eye, like they're gonna hit you. You know that look. If you've been in enough fights, you know that fucking look. When somebody's gonna fucking clock
Can't
you.
relate.
Sorry, Eric.
I never been in a
Yeah.
fight in my life.
but I remember when you called me about that.
No, yeah, I fucked that guy up. I fucking threw his ass on the ground and got on top of him. He's lucky I didn't start beating his ass, but no, my buddies were there and like there was another guy and he was trying to like grab me off of him and they pushed him off. And they were like, "Hey, back the fuck up, nigga," because they were black dudes. They were like, "Back the fuck up, you fucking ain't nobody jumping out here." And fucking he got all scared and shit and backed off. But no, that there was a girl and she came by and she's like, "Hey, I remember you. I was here when you got into it with that customer." I'm like, "Well, I get into it with a lot of customers, so you're gonna have to be more specific." And and she was like, "Yeah, I was here with Mike when you slammed that guy on the ground." And I'm like, "Oh, yikes!" And she's like, "Yeah, I specifically remember it because the sound. I didn't see it. I just heard the sound of him hitting the concrete and how fucking loud it was." And I'm just like, "Holy fuck!" And that guy wasn't little. That guy was like fucking, like lanky. He was like 6 foot, like maybe like 185. Just he was skinny, you know. And I was thinking to myself, like, if I could do that out of shape, if I could pick up a grown man, and I didn't do it from behind. He was looking at me when I grabbed him by his fucking shirt when I picked
Suplexing.
him up. You know what I mean? And he was anticipating me doing something, but I don't think he was anticipating how fucking just strong I am.
Nah, he
And
thought it
how
was
I
gonna
just
be a
picked
street
him
fight
up.
and you were gonna swing. Nah, you grabbed his
Probably.
Caught him off guard, yeah.
Well, no, dude, I'm just saying, like, if I could do that out of shape, like, imagine me in good shape, what I could fucking do to something.
ass. The potential
Do
is
you
there.
think now that you're a little bit like heavier, do you think that your stamina has decreased now that you're in shape?
That's the
you're a
thing
little
that
bit heavier?
that's a good question. I think about that a lot. I'm like, damn, well, I better not fight go the distance. I better beat the shit out of them and just
Yeah.
make sure they're incapacitated before I fucking do anything else.
Conor
'Cause if not, I'm
McGregor
gonna
them.
get tired.
You gotta do it like that Sherlock Holmes scene where he's like analyzing and like, all right, first I gotta fucking,
Yeah.
I gotta stun him and then I gotta fucking
Yeah.
break his jaw.
My
Right
biggest
jab,
thing
left
is
hook.
just like if I can slam somebody on the ground, it's pretty much over from there.
Oh yeah, because
You're
I see Tyler on the ground.
Yeah, I wouldn't go
But,
to go to the ground with you. There's no way. I got
Yeah, and what
I
happened?
got the stamina to stay away from you, but I don't think I can go toe to toe on the ground.
Yeah,
There's no way.
once we're on the ground, you ain't going no. I got you for
You
3
fucking-
minutes.
I actually took it from me. I was gonna say you beat me by a second. I got you for 3 minutes. You ain't going nowhere.
Fucking A, man.
But no, I don't know, man. Oh my god, babe. No, I my dad is fucking. Yeah, he beat my ass, but I learned from it. You know what I mean? And ultimately, like the you can ask Garrett how I was around adults and stuff, of how respectful I was because of my dad would
Oh,
beat
yeah,
my
dude.
ass if I
He
wasn't.
still is. He's
Like, yeah, of course I am, because I'm an
Yeah.
adult now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
dude, like,
Always respectful.
The first time I met Nate's parents, like,
Yeah.
I was like shaking their hand and being polite with them, and they're like, "Why are you being so proper for?" Like, they were just confused. Like, they were confused because I don't know if just none of our friends are like that, or
no, it's just, I mean, they're not to say that they're not formal when it comes to meeting new people, but they're, I guess, a little informal because they're
They're a
more
bit
of
more
like, hey,
laid
like,
they're
back.
more the chill
Yeah.
parents, the cool
Yeah, dude.
parents.
they're like more like, come here, dude, like, like, don't give me that shit, like,
Yeah, they're like, "Why are you being so respectful?" And I'm just like, "Am I wrong for being this way?"
Please don't hit me.
This is, I mean, this is your house, and this is the first time I've met you, and so
Yeah, but yeah, like that's just how my parents are, like, because I know
But
they're
that's something
they're
I
more
have to
like-
give to my dad.
yeah, and that's cool that you are like that, but for my parents, they're just like more I guess down to earth people, I guess you could
no,
say.
they're
They
cool as fuck.
they never expect anything out of anybody, so I guess that's why they're like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Why are you
Yeah,
giving me the top star like treatment right now? Not to say that they thought you're like fake or anything. I'm like, no,
yeah.
I told him like that's just how he is. That was his upbringing. He's like, oh no, that's not a bad thing. It's just I don't know, like that's not how my parents are raised.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they do talk about you here and there. Like, yeah, remember this is. They always ask about you. Like, hey, does your friend still live there in the back?
No, unfortunately. But yeah, fucking I don't know. It got pretty bad during my teenage years. Like there was one time in particular where my dad he hit me, and then like I was like, fuck this, like I'm tired of being hit, and so I ran away and I went to Eric's house.
Yeah.
And it was late, and I knocked on Eric's window, and I'm like, dude, can I like spend the night here? And I was a freshman. You were still in middle school, huh?
I think so, yeah.
And I was like, all right, dude, I'll just sit here and I'll just sleep on the ground, And I slept at fucking Eric's house with him and all of his goddamn cats.
Fuck those
Fucking
cats.
and at that particular time, there was a new litter of kittens, and they were just all in the room with me and Eric, that little ass fucking room that he had. And
My
that's your
mom walked
parents'
in.
room now, huh? No, your mom
So-
didn't walk in. I went to the bathroom.
Oh,
and
you
your mom
walked
didn't
on
lock the
on my
door.
mom.
Yeah, and I walked
her
in
her
on
falling
your
asleep
mom.
in the bathroom.
Yeah, literally. She
came
was
and she's like,
fucking half
I
asleep.
thought I saw Drake right now. I was like, you did. You fucking did. The fuck you mean?
Hey, you're dreaming about that, huh?
Yeah, but
yeah,
my
and I
mom,
got so scared. I was like, I'm leaving. It was
my
like
my
fucking
mom
5:30 in the
wasn't
morning.
like she wasn't against anybody staying over as long as you let her know. And
Yeah,
she
but you
came in.
didn't.
She came in. She's like, yeah, I don't care if he stays over. Just let me know. And pretty much, yeah, she gave him a fucking did you fucking get a bed or something like the spare
No, dude,
room?
I left. I left before your mom came in and talked to you. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, she said
I
she was
was like,
gonna get you some blankets and pillows and shit, and you could stay the night.
It was already like 5:30. I was like, I'm just gonna go catch my bus to go to school.
Yeah,
I went to school, dude, and I fucking stunk.
but yeah,
Nice.
Your fucking house. I smell like cats.
I hated it. I fucking hated it. Every little
Smell
bit
like-
of it, I hated of it.
Let's see.
But yeah, I went to school that. Dude, no, I went to school that day, and I got in a fight that day. I got suspended that day. What the
Oh,
fuck?
Who'd you get in a fight with?
I got in a fight with this kid named his last name was Leon. He was little, but he pissed me off. He said something stupid, and I just cracked his ass. And then I fucking picked him up and slammed his ass on the fucking ground.
Take something
And
small
then,
to set someone on.
And then I went to punch him, and he punched me, and I was like, "Oh, you little bitch!" And right when he hit me, they pulled us off, and I'm just like, "Dude, I'm so fucking sorry." Like I was talking to my teacher. It was Miss Barnes. She was substituting for Miss Novice. at the
Badass
time.
Miss Barnes. Sorry.
But yeah, fucking, literally fucking, I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm going through. He just fucking pissed me off, and I wasn't really like that back then. Fight, unless I was like sticking up for my friends, which I did a lot. Eric, not so much Garrett, because Garrett was so nice that everybody liked him. So
Yeah, I never really got in a fight with anyone.
nobody really ever pit. Matt, on the other hand, time I used to have to fucking come to his rescue all the goddamn time, but I don't really fuck with him anymore. So,
Yeah, I haven't really talked to him in a while.
but yeah, I fucking I just remember one time in particular too. That's another thing about my dad is that, like Garrett said, he wouldn't mind feeding you, and you know, and I know this kind of sucks, Eric, to kind of throw you under the bus, but you know, Eric didn't have a lot of money, and we knew, you know what I mean, and every time Eric came over, you know, it'd be like, oh, Eric, are you hungry? Eat. You know, just because that was mostly me. My dad didn't really have much to do with that. I literally asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, can we eat? Like, can we get something to eat? He was like, yeah, go ahead, I don't care. And fucking Eric and I would eat top ramen. That was our fucking favorite thing to eat.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fucking chili ramen, huh, Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Chili ramen and toast. That was it. And then Eric was like, you ever make a ramen sandwich? And I'm just like, excuse me?
Yeah.
He's like, you ever just get some ramen and you put it between two pieces of bread and you eat it? And I was like, I can't say that I have. And he just like fucking we made fucking toast, and we're like, I'm like, dude, this is fucking great.
You're telling me I'm not eating to my fullest capabilities?
Fucking chili ramen. There was another point in particular we talked about Eric, was when it was that it was one. You only played 1 year of football, didn't you?
No, I played 2.
I don't remember which year it was.
Didn't you?
I played the freshman year. We went 13-1, and then
Might
I
have been
played
sophomore
I
year.
played JV year, and then sophomore year, and then junior year summer practice. I broke my arm to fucking whatever the fuck his name was,
Jesus.
Delatorre,
Oh my
Oh
god.
my God, Richard or Ricardo or whatever.
the
Ricardo,
bigger
yeah.
one.
Michael.
Michael.
Oh,
Michael was
Michael.
the big one.
Fucking
That guy was a fucking asshole.
so they had the
He's just a
JV.
steroided.
They
fucking
had
loser.
the JV squad subbing in, and they were still wearing the foam pads, the foam helmets,
Mhm.
and he
Oh,
fucking put his
God.
head down and put it on my fucking forearm.
Ow, dude.
And Coach Mac was just like, I walked off. I was like, dude, my fucking arm is broken. He looked at my arm. He's like, no, it's not swollen. It's not fucking like hurt. Does it hurt? Can you move it?
I think I remember this.
Yeah, I walked off and I was like, yo, my arm is fucking broken. He's like, get back in, get your reps. I was like, fuck no, I'm not getting my reps. Fuck you.
Fuck those
So-
reps, bitch.
So I went to the what the fuck is her name? The
Chanel.
Chanel. Yeah, I went to
Oh,
I went
Chanel.
I went to
She's awesome.
Chanel, And I was like, "Yo, can you like splint up my arm or tape up my arm so I can get back in?" Because I didn't think of it. And she's like, "No, I
"It's
can't."
broken."
No, she's like, "I can't do shit with the swelling." She's like, "I can't do like apply anything without knowing whether or not it's broken or not." So I pretty
Yeah.
much sat out, and then I came back to practice with a cast on, a full arm cast.
So,
And
so when we
smack
do my
them
reps,
stupid as fuck.
Well, I remember in particular one time, fucking, we were at our banquet, at our football banquet, and my dad's girlfriend, unknowing for your situation, was like, "Wow, he can't even wear black socks. He's wearing white socks under his dress pants." And my dad's like, "Christina, like, he doesn't have a lot of money. Like, he's poor. Like, you know, like his family's poor. You know, like." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know." And I'm like, and she's like, "Yeah, that's Tyler's friend." Like, and then my dad was like, "Tyler, do you want to see if he needs fucking socks?" And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure he's fine, Dad, but I'll ask him." And I never asked you. So Eric, do you need black socks?
Right now? Nah, dude.
I'll go buy you a
They're
pair right now, dude.
black socks are
I'll
regulation, so
Amazon
I'm
ship you
good.
some.
Fucking A. But it's just like growing up on going to the same schools. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, going to the same schools and stuff like that, and you know, didn't mean that you grew up in the household. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like-
Oh yeah, dude.
Just because you lived in the same area, somebody doesn't mean you went to them.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, you lived behind me for how long, and I had no idea.
For a long
You,
ass
you
time, yeah, and I
didn't
even-
know until I fucking told you, and I screamed over the wall. I was like, Drake, but you
Yeah,
you
I was
weren't
like,
there.
I remember that. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, he lives right there." I was like, "What?" I was so shocked. I was dumbfounded, dude.
Yeah.
It was,
But yeah, like,
and I used to always wonder who lived there because I'd be like, "Who the fuck is playing that fucking loud ass music?" It's 3 in the morning.
The Puerto
It was
Ricans
like,
over
"God damn it."
dancing
I'm like,
at
"Go to
midnight.
bed, fuck." But there would be sometimes in particular where I would sit on my. This would make me sound like a fucking loner. I don't care. But I would sit on top of the RV and I would look over you guys and I'm like, "Damn, dude, they're always having a good time." And I'm over here by my fucking self, fucking no siblings, no friends, always in trouble. Yeah, felt bad.
I mean, like, to be honest, if I were to really look back and like think about it, like, dude, all you had to do was go to the wall, like, "Hey, how's it going, neighbor?" and fucking have a couple beers in your hand, like, "Hey, what's going on? What's happening?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah, but I was like 14 at the time, so I don't think I'd have a couple beers in my hand.
man.
Bullshit.
No, man, fuck that.
Bullshit.
Everyone was fucking drinking. I was drinking at that time.
It's
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
different
dude,
in,
fucking, it's crazy.
different cultures.
Yeah, but Garrett's grandparents actually lived down the street from us too, right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that. They lived down over by.
Oh.
You remember where the? I don't know. Did you take the bus to Alder? Or did you get a ride?
Ooh.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you?
Yeah, I took the bus to Alder for a little bit.
There was a bus on Pine and Laurel, right? Bus stop was for you.
No, for high school,
For high school, it was on fucking
it
Randall.
was on. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
whatever that street was.
It was on Merrill and Alder.
Maryland Alder,
yeah.
and then there was on Cedar and Merrill.
Yeah, Garrett lived up on Alder too. Garrett was actually out of the boundaries.
Yeah, I claimed
Oh,
I lived at my grandparents' house to go to Perupa.
Yeah, he went to Fohi for like half of his first year, and then
Played
Garrett and I
football for him.
actually knew each other before going to high school. We played baseball in 8th grade together.
The Angels.
Yeah, and
Sick.
so yeah, we knew each other, and then also I knew of him more too because Greg was my dad's girlfriend's son.
Come on, Craig.
Um,
And he played football on my freshman
yeah, he
team.
played football, and he was the quarterback for the freshman team that Garrett played center of. So literally,
He
Greg's
touched my
hand
balls
was
all the
under.
time.
Yeah, his hands were under fucking Garrett's balls. So
Sick.
they got to know
That's
each
That
other.
was the shittiest football team I think I ever was a part of.
James Ruiz was on that.
There was
fucking
18
team, too.
people on that fucking team. 18. And James Reese thought he was all hot shit, but he got to Rupa and he didn't even play.
And he didn't even fucking play.
He was like, "Oh, I'm fucking good as shit." And it's like, yeah, no.
Well, I feel like Eric has talked the least, so I need Eric to.
So step it up.
Yeah, I need you to step up your game.
I was like, I'm sort of like sitting back and analyzing like all of our conversations of our bad moments and our upbringings are all with our fathers. So it's strange for me because my dad passed away when I was young. So my perspective on the whole thing is different. So I had a abusive drug addict stepdad who pretty much caused chaos in the household whether he wanted to or not. So I would say I was always searching for a father figure. So Nathan, I don't know if you would notice, like any moment I had the opportunity to fucking get out of the house, I fucking went. So whether it was
Yeah.
our fateful big blue night, which is a story for a different time, or
Yeah.
just like fucking sneaking off and hanging out with people, like
We need Marco in on this conversation too.
yeah. Well, Marco was a different
Well-
story. Like Marco was a really good friend of mine in elementary, and then he moved and went to Foj. But yeah, that's a story for a different time with Marco. Marco's
Yeah,
got a whole
we'll get
complex
Marco in
story.
here.
But my lowest time for me was not having electricity or running water in the household,
Oh,
and having to take a shit outside in a bucket.
Fuck.
Like that was the worst fucking time. And Drake, you talk about like going to school smelling like cats. That one day, I smell like that every day. So when I went to Alder, it was the lowest time because bullies were rampant, and
Oh my god, yeah.
my fucking like mental state, it wasn't stable. I was the kid that came to school and everyone's like, "Ooh, you smell like you smell like fucking Axe, like out the fucking ass."
Yeah.
Because I didn't take the bus. You and I rode bikes from 6th to 7th grade,
Yep.
or my 6th and 7th, and
Yep.
I sprayed a shit ton of Axe then, and then just smelling like cats and shit. I had to spray it. It if anything, it made me known as the kid who was trying to hide it versus the kid that smells like it. You know, so
Yeah.
it put me on the spot even more. Yeah, it was a pretty abusive house. Ugh. Let's put this into perspective. I woke up yesterday, a half an hour from now, so I've almost been up for 24 hours. My voice is
Jeez.
fucking going out. But
Fucking Christ.
yeah, my stepdad would be very abusive and beat up on me, my mom, and my brother. And once I got big enough, or like I got the balls to actually like take him on, it got very aggressive in the household. From me slamming him on the ground and knocking him out, to me holding him down with a fucking a fifth of vodka and a bag of weed in his hand, and my grandmother over my shoulder pointing a gun at me. Like
Jesus.
it was fucking so fucking wild, and I always just wanted to be outside. So I would say me hanging out with Tristan was the lowest of like friends, but at the time it was like the only friend I had.
Yeah, the only bit of like friendship that you can like really grab.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, yo, I can go to some people and I can hang out with them,
Yeah.
but they got their own lives, and I couldn't actually go hang out with them because they were doing their own things. So it was
Yeah.
like I was
we
always
would hang out
asking.
occasionally.
Well, it was like middle school when we hung out. High school was
Yeah.
different story. We were part of different cliques. Fucking freshman year. Nate, were we hanging out freshman year?
You know, it's been so long. I was just thinking about that right now. I was like, when did I really start like fucking hanging out with you? Like,
Like
When did
I
I-
remember the first time we met. It was when me and Lionel went over to your house just to borrow a 360 controller. But I don't remember when we actually initially started hanging out as a group. Like I knew Omar from middle school. I knew Marco from elementary.
I've known Omar since elementary.
yeah, I know him since elementary.
So was that our clique? Was it Omar? Was
Yeah, I
like,
think. Yeah, because I feel like I've met a lot of through Omar and Marco too, because I knew him. I've known Omar since elementary, and I've known Marco since Alder. So, like everyone that I talk to now that I'm like really good with, I feel like I've met either through them or through a known associate of them. You know, so.
yeah.
But yeah, dude, fucking. I don't know. It feels like I've known you for my whole life, though. It feels like because, I mean, I know like a lot more about you today than I did like what fucking 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
I could say that we've had a lot of shared experiences.
Put it lightly.
For another time, we will touch on that. But yeah, dude, I really do consider you and Drake like brothers, dude. Fucking, and that's me saying because I've never had like people I can really call brothers. I have family that I'm really close with, but you're my brother. But yeah, I really do consider you guys brothers. Fucking, I don't think I can remember even like knowing Garrett or like ever seeing
Yeah, I
him.
honestly, yeah, I really don't.
But yeah,
Like I knew
he's a buddy.
I
I knew
wasn't that memorable.
I knew of Garrett because the football team, but that was like I knew you were smart, like top of your class and football. And
next time Garrett comes down, I'll bring him over to hang out with us. Nate.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah, dude. Barbecue.
but like
Some Cornish
Yeah,
hens.
that sounds good.
our clique has always been so tight and like always searching for like a family to hang out with and like having that group of like people who I would consider family and stuff. Like I hung out with Lionel 8th grade and 9th grade. That's how it was. It was Lionel. Lionel's how we
Yeah.
met. So
Yeah,
Lionel's
'cause that was
how
pretty cool.
Lionel's how we initially met, but the main group all surrounded Lionel. And then I pretty much shifted over and Lionel pretty much drifted away to the football clique.
Yeah.
Fucking
It was
Lionel.
fucking Slade and Kike and
Fucking
Yeah,
assholes.
Lionel's good.
They're fucking assholes.
I heard Kike has a kid from what I heard.
Stupid. I knew Enrique since fucking middle or elementary too.
When Lionel broke into all of our fucking lockers. Garrett.
Oh, fucking Lionel. Yeah, I remember that shit. I'm glad I didn't have fucking anything valuable.
I'm glad he didn't fucking go into my locker because if I would have found out who it was, because I just don't understand. Like, they went after Rock because he snitched, but nobody went after them for stealing, and I just don't get it. I'm just like, how does that make sense? How are you guys
Because
gonna?
Lionel was good. Because he was.
Yeah, I understand that Lionel was good, but like everybody was afraid of Lionel. I'll tell you this right now. You could even ask Garrett. I wasn't fucking afraid of anybody. Wayman Cooley. You guys remember Wayman Cooley?
Yeah, I remember you
I don't
got in a
know if you guys
fight with him.
remember him.
It was a big fucking
Wayman
ordeal.
Cooley was the most feared fucking person ever.
Oh, I was
on
scared
our
of him.
team. I don't think anybody was more scared of him. Everybody was scared of him for some weird reason. I'm like, dude, he's just because because he's got fucking. I mean, he's got decent size. He's not taller than me. He's got some, big hands and like he talks a lot of shit. But fuck is everybody so scared about? I fucking threw his ass on the ground. I wrapped his ass up.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I threw his ass on the ground, and we were literally on top of each other. I was like trying to figure out. I'm like, what am I gonna do? We have helmets on. I'm like, what the fuck? All right, I gotta try to take his helmet off. So I'm sitting there trying to take his fucking helmet off, and everybody's trying to break up the fucking fight. And here comes Coach Mack, because he liked Wayman. Fucking Wayman was good. You know what I mean? And if you were good on the team, then Coach Mack pretty much liked you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's how.
if it was fucking, two fucking idiots that never played, you'd have that shit right away.
Well, that's
But it was
why.
us.
That's why y'all
It was
got.
two of the best kids on the team,
Yeah,
and he's just no, let him hash it out. You know what I mean? So we were just
Mhm.
sitting there and fucking, nothing was happening, so they broke it up. And then like
Yeah.
on the next play, fucking Wayman tried to pull the helmet off. I'm like, what, bitch? I'll fucking knock you out. I don't need a fucking helmet. But everybody was afraid of him, and I never understood why. And Josh Davis, even though fucking Josh Davis fucking busted my fucking head open. But
One thing I can say, I don't know how that football team. Like, I don't know how we all played together and we won because there was no reason that was a legal team. I don't know how the hell Bubba got in there.
oh my god, yeah, Bubba,
Fucking Wayman Cooley.
Oh, they
And that
changed the
fucking
rule when Bubba came.
Ricardo,
That's why.
It was like
You got
like, I don't
grandfathered in?
understand half the shit.
No.
Yeah, I was just
It was a
so
new rule.
confused. And then Damien,
Oh.
Damien or whatever, and all that. I just was
Yeah.
So
No,
there's no reason we should have had a count.
You remember one season, Coach Landry wasn't able to coach, and it's because he was
Yeah.
recruiting fucking people from AB Miller
Yeah, I remember
to come
that.
play for us.
Yeah, he was shifting the fucking lines and shit.
No, he was recruiting people. He was like telling high schools to come play for us. And you're not allowed to do that. It's
No,
illegal.
you can't recruit. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Um,
who was the fucking the main quarterback that won with you guys?
DJ
Yeah.
Damien Wright.
What was the big ordeal when he left the school to go to a private school?
He went to Salesian. They changed the rule. I'm telling you that the year that we won CIF, they had changed the rule to basically transfer without facing it was like a 5-game
penalty?
suspension. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like a 5-game suspension. But they changed the rule, so Bubba just came over and he
Right.
played with us.
He played the first
Yeah,
game.
and
And he was there for like a week.
It pisses me off because like he had literally just came to the was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna start his ass. And he wanted to play receiver, and I'm like, you're fucking dumb. We have too many stacked receivers. You're not gonna play receiver. Your fat ass is gonna play defense. And he was like, no, I'm gonna play receiver. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna play receiver. And my biggest thing, even they would call me a bully because people would leave our school and come back and think that it was just okay, like that they could come back and have their spot back. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they would leave other schools to basically because they didn't think there was any opportunity with us as a school as we weren't that good. They would leave and go to other schools and realize can't actually make a team here because I'm actually not that good. You know what I mean?
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
And then they would come back. There was literally 4 instances. There was 2 brothers. They were Manny James and other guy's
Is
name.
that Pac-Man?
Yeah, Pac-Man. He had a big old fucking head.
Corday
Pac-Man
in that.
Yeah, Corday. Yeah, Corday.
Yeah.
Corday. They both went to Kaiser, and then they came back. And
They
then
won a ring in Kaiser, I thought.
and then fucking Wayman Cooley went to another school for summer and then came back. And then fucking bitch ass Nick Navarro went to Rim World
I don't
for
remember
a
that.
summer and then came back. But every single player that came back, I literally was like, I am going to treat you as if you are my fucking enemy. Play out here because you are gonna have to earn the spot and not only impress the coaches, but you're gonna have to earn as a player because I was loyal to the team for years, whether it was fucking loss, fucking and we lost those first 2 years a lot, and then the third year we got close. But I was pissed off at some of those people, so when they came back, I'd fucking hit them hard. I'd fucking not take it easy on them. You know what I mean? Like when you're kind of practicing against your teammates, so you wouldn't really, take it hard on them. You would take it more easier on them. You're not trying to hurt them or anything. I didn't play like that. Fucking, I remember in one moment particular that kid Corday, he got the ball, and it was a wide receiver pass, so he was swinging way out wide. He went to throw the ball. I literally hit him so hard it picked him up off his feet, and he flew like 5 feet on his back. And he gets up, he's like, "Yeah, you're a fucking bully."
He was a
Oh my
small.
God.
He was like a buck.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck. But yeah, like fucking, it's like that with anything for me. I'm loyal. You know what I mean? And if somebody's not, you know what I mean, and they try to act like they are, it's like I fucking get mad. You know who I get mad at the most? Who I can't fucking stand? What's his name? What's the guy's name that dances, Eric?
Which guy?
Adrian.
Adrian?
Adrian,
Fuck Adrian.
is that his name? That guy's so
Fucking
annoying,
asshole.
Which one?
You know him.
Nate. His name's Adrian.
The deaf
Nate.
one. You know him.
He's deaf?
He's deaf.
Like completely deaf?
Like he wears fucking hearing aids deaf.
He wears hearing aids, but I mean that doesn't mean he's.
You
deaf.
never
It
heard
means
his
he's probably
speech
just-
impediment?
I mean, I'm kind of. Where's Nate? Can't hear him.
Do you not see
He
the
left.
chat? He left. He says he's
When?
gonna do an Irish goodbye.
Oh,
But yeah, Adrian's a
Okay.
fucking asshole,
That guy's
and that
annoying.
whole group is an asshole. But to conclude my side of it, like I've always been searching for like a family or father fucking figure, and like
I can be your dad.
you'd be my dad. You'd be my daddy. But I mean,
Garrett,
like-
shut the fuck up.
I mean, like when it comes down to it, when Anthony or Rock passed away, it was the hardest fucking time for me. And
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was so like far away from home, like I said in Kuwait, that I couldn't do anything about it, and I felt like the month prior to, I was like, dude, just join the military. He was like, dude, I'm gonna become a cop. I'm gonna protect at home. You protect overseas or
Yeah.
afar, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, if there was some way for me to like convince him,
Oh my God, no, it's loud.
if there was some way for me to convince him to actually join, he
All
would
I had
still
to
be
do was
alive
turn it
today.
down.
Yeah, that's crazy,
Yeah.
man.
I felt like I had some way of like actually like contributing, some way I could have helped, but there was no way ultimately.
I say this a lot, and it sucks to think this way, especially when somebody passes. But I don't believe in God. You know what I mean? but I do believe that there's a thing called fate, and that things happen for a particular reason, whether they be good or bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
And shit happens for a reason. And whether it be something as sad as that, or Garrett's dad fucking breaking his back and almost dying, like that happened to him and that happened to Garrett for a reason. I mean, like whether it was because maybe they weren't spending as much time together as a family, or you tend to neglect things. Like it was like me. Like my buddy passed away recently that I've known since probably was one of my first friends ever. I played baseball with him. His name was Anthony Bergholzer, and he recently, we hadn't even been talking. He got in a car crash and he died. And I cried. You know what I mean? I get sad, but I feel like that it happened for a reason. And the main thing that I took away from that, because like I said, we hadn't been talking. We hadn't talked in fucking 3 years. And the main thing I could take from that was just that talk to, try to reconnect with people. If you haven't talked to somebody in a while, talk to them, you know what I mean? And stay close to the people that you do care about, That's why fucking, I talk to you guys fucking almost every day, except for Garrett, because he wants to go and fucking engage and shit. I'm talking.
Shut the fuck up.
Too cool for me now. Too cool to play video games with.
Not too cool for you.
I
It's
know.
just,
You don't want to play the same game as I do. I want to play.
I was just gonna say that.
But I know that when he passed, it definitely, I felt like my circle, or me and Nate's circle, I wish he was here to fucking talk on this, but
Got
Nate's
closer.
the one that fucking called me and let me know. But yeah, it definitely got a lot closer, and the experiences that we've all been through, especially like someone like Omar, who was in the fucking, I don't
Car,
remember
yeah.
if he was driving or if he was in the passenger seat,
He was
but
driving, yeah.
he took it the fucking hardest, because like he felt
I
like it
can
was
imagine.
his fault, but it was the vehicle. It was a fucking fucked up part that buckled, but it definitely got us all closer together, and we have all got like an experience to pretty much hold us together no matter what happens. We're family now.
Yeah.
Like we share an experience, or someone who has affected our life in some way or another. Like
Mhm.
all of us in here in the chat right now fucking knew Anthony, and
Yeah.
he's affected us, whether it's drove us harder on the fucking field, because we knew he was aggressive as fuck on that fucking
Yeah.
D line, but like it got us closer, like one way or another. I hate that he's gone, but yeah, it's the outcome is positive.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. A long-term outcome.
yeah.
Yeah. What pissed me off the most about that situation is that Rashay was blowing it up as he was being selfish. I don't know. I think I saw a post about her saying something stupid, and it just
She was mad that he supposedly said that he was gonna hang out with her that day. Instead, he went to San Francisco with Omar and Aaron, and
Yeah.
then Aaron was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sad that he's gone," or whatever. And then supposedly him and Rashay were in a relationship, and I
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck was going on. I frankly don't give a fuck about both those girls. And I know you, Drake, every time you bring it up, I just wave it off, but I don't give a fuck.
I know you don't, but yeah, it's just that should be,
Yeah, it's like somebody fucking lost their life and you're gonna fight over a relationship. It's too selfish. It's pretty fucked. But yeah.
Garrett, what are you doing? Are you washing dishes or something?
Oh, you're fucking good at that. I am actually washing dishes.
It sounded like he scrubbed the stove earlier and now he's doing dishes.
Oh, look at you being a good little housewife.
Aren't we talking about marriage? You said we're gonna talk about marriages and shit?
My wife said I can't say anything about relationships.
Yeah, we can touch on that another time. That's something I actually wanted to talk about, because someone being married for a long time, Drake, me being married for not as long, someone who was
What, has it been
engaged.
2 years for you?
And no, it's 1 year last October.
Oh, so just
Um,
past 1 year.
Yeah, just past 1 year. And then Nate, who's been in
Garrett,
and out of
who's
relationships.
engaged. Yeah, Nate, who's been in and out of fucking the same relationship. Same girl.
Which is like, I wanted to pick his brain on it because I wanted to see what his attitude was about it. But that's something we can touch on a different time, where when we actually have people here, even like Marco, who has had issues with relationships. I would like him to be on that conversation, but I know how his schedule
yeah,
or
Nate's single, but Marco is single.
yeah. That's something I'd touch on a different time. That's like a part 2 of this, of being an adult.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we can cut it here.